company that empowers people with disabilities to help them learn and use computers and mobile devices by using hardware devices just like EX. And we are very, very happy. I'm very happy and excited to be at Krypto Labs, especially after the ending of the startup competition, EdTech startup competition that we happened to win.
We are from class, and we feel great because we met awesome people here. It was amazing.
I feel grateful. It's been an amazing 2 days. We met so many great entrepreneurs, built so many wonderful connections. Krypto Labs is an amazing space. The whole team here has been super supportive, and we're excited to keep working together now and in the future to build the future of education in classrooms.
I feel very fortunate to be part of Krypto Lab event and meet like-minded EdTech industry leaders and network with other like-minded people.
I feel inspired to be around really cool startups, and I want to thank Krypto Labs for having us and for organizing this really cool event.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Krypto Labs. My name is Patikrit Banerjee. We are here for the finals of the Krypto Labs EdTech Innovation Competition 2018. From online banking to real-time news, we live in a world immersed in digital technology. But when we look at our classrooms, we realize that the application of technology is still in its infancy. This evening, we will meet an outstanding group of entrepreneurs and innovators who are dreaming and imagining the classrooms of the future. Before we get started, we wanted to thank our media partners, SWU, Thomson Reuters, and Entrepreneur Middle East. And by the way, we are live on SWU and Instagram. It gives me great pleasure to welcome on stage Dr. Saleh Al-Hashmi. Dr. Saleh wakes up every morning believing in the power of academic excellence, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Dr. Saleh's executive roles include being the managing director of Krypto Labs. Dr. Saleh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome you all here in our establishment this evening. At Krypto Labs, we have always highlighted the imminent need for integrating technology with the education system. We reckon that education is at the heart of every industry and almost every culture. Therefore, in a world where the future is the present and changes are happening ever so quickly, it becomes essential to mold education into a system that can adapt to any version of the future. So in our collective effort to integrate innovation into the field of education, we decided to set a global challenge by launching the EdTech Innovation Startup Competition. This competition intends to push the frontiers of transformation in the education technology industry. We scouted for talented individuals. We scouted for teams. We scouted for university students and companies from all around the world that are able to spark innovation and impact our lives with their products and services. Out of 800 applicants from across the world, 5 finalists stood out with ideas that have the potential to revolutionize the education industry from within. Krypto Labs would like to congratulate these finalists, and also I would like to congratulate every one of the 800 who took the time to apply for our contest. It is an honor that you have entrusted us to help you elevate your business ideas, and we look forward to doing so. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Saad. Next, we're going to watch a short video which summarizes the statistics of the startup competition. I would like to request on stage Mr. Anas Zainuddin, the Executive Director of Krypto Labs. Anas had a pivotal role to play in the physical infrastructure that we have in front of us today. And today, he's leading the development of the ecosystem of Krypto Labs, realizing the vision that was built in the first place. Anas.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you all to Krypto Labs on this great and exciting evening for the EdTech Innovation Startup Competition. Given that this coincides with approximately 1 year since the opening of Krypto Labs, I'd like to give you a brief overview about what we have done over the last year and what Krypto Labs' mandate was from the very beginning. Krypto Labs was established to fulfill a key pivotal role, which is to contribute to the diversification of the UAE economy and positioning the UAE on the global innovation map. Krypto Labs was mandated to foster innovation, and it has done so for the last 1 year since opening. We have manifested this by the various strategies, initiatives, and activities that have taken place in the last less than 1 year. And this is where Krypto Labs, as it opened initially with the idea of being an incubation and co-working space, it has now transitioned to a fully integrated innovation hub. This has been our very exciting journey over the last 12 months. From the various programs that we have done, which number 5 in total, the competitions being one of them, it has given us the ability to access a network of over 3,000 credible startups that we currently have direct access to. What this gives us is great leverage to access key technologies that are very unique, very innovative, that can be incorporated with other technologies that we are also working on within our ecosystem partners. This also covers various sectors, industries, and segments. And we have certain focus sectors that we have been focusing on, such as drones, education technology, clean energy, and a bunch of others that we have been working with over the last 1 year. And we do this in 2 ways. We support local startups by providing them with the space, the facilities, all the necessary amenities that they require in terms of funding, mentorship, and networking. For the global companies, we do the same, but we do it virtually. We fund them, we still provide them with mentorship, we provide them with networking. Our current portfolio exists of a total of 16 startups, 8 of which have been onboarded already, and 8 that are in the process of being onboarded by year end, bringing the total to 16. And our business model is strategic, value-added investments in these companies. We focus more on the quality rather than the quantity. And we invest in the companies that we truly feel we can empower and we can add value. To give you an example, we invested in one of the Dutch companies from the first competition during the launch. Although this company is based in the Netherlands, throughout the past 1 year, we have worked closely with them. We have provided them with investment in various tranches. We have connected them with various leading real estate experts because their application is a real estate platform. And we even worked with some of the local authorities in the UAE to give them a pilot project. So this is what we do with our startups. We give them practical hands-on experience where we not only invest in the form of financial support, we also provide the practical aspect of it as well. One of our other companies is a Swiss-based company that we invested in as well. And the reason these competitions are phenomenal is because it unearths the substantial potential that is available where you have entities that could be university projects. They have never gone through an incubation cycle. They have never received funding. They hear about this incredible challenge and they apply. From this application, this is how we get in touch with these entities. We look at them and we become the first to invest, to support, to mentor, to network. And one of our Swiss-based companies that we invested in today has an offer of an investment at a valuation 3 times the size that we entered only 5 months ago. So this is the value that we add to our startups. And to date, we have a total of $2.5 million in financial funding committed to these strategic investments. Over the last 1 year, we have also established an array of various partnerships and collaborations with local and international entities. This has been done for strategic partnership purposes, with media partners, for various projects and programs. A lot of these companies we have worked with, we have either a project, a program, or a collaborative effort. And in addition to that, from the flags that you see on the bottom, we have had a number of international delegations and visitors that have heard about Krypto Labs and wanted to come and see what this innovative environment is like. We have had presidents, ministers, ambassadors, and various other delegates. Academia is very important for us because that is where the seeds of innovation are grown from the beginning. And we have a heavy emphasis on empowering students who are currently in academia, graduating, whether it's undergraduate, MBA, or master's program, because this is the talent base that you have. And these are the people, the key future entrepreneurs that we want to target right out of university. We also see a trending shift today where a lot of students are graduating, but their focus is not to find a job and work for a corporation. Their focus is to be an entrepreneur and build their own business. And this is where we can empower these entrepreneurs, and we have been doing so by the various programs, workshops, and initiatives we have done with the various universities. As a matter of fact, we also have some students from the local universities who have taken up internship at Krypto Labs. And there's a number of other global-based universities that we have had excellent collaboration with, and this connects us with their network as well, and collaborative work both ways. Our global network also spans across 3 continents in terms of incubators and accelerators. We have partnered with various leading seed accelerators, venture capital entities, incubators, accelerators. This is done across Europe, the Americas, and Asia. And what this provides for us is a key network where we can share ideas, we can collaborate with these entities, we get a lot of deal flow that comes to us. So there's a lot of startups that could be based in South America, whereas their strategic focus area should be the Middle East. And these are the startups that we get through our partner incubators that we currently have collaborations with. So aside from startups that have existing MVPs, they could be making revenue, they have an established model, one of the things that we have done as well is to open a new chapter for innovators to develop something that does not necessarily exist at their startup level. So we are not only looking at startups that have a product or are generating revenue off of it. We are looking for teams, R&D entities, university projects, startups, even SMEs that are working on research and development products, and this is where we enter the R&D domain. We have made our entry in one particular field, which is the field of drones. We found a very particular opportunity in the UAE and in the region, in drone technology as an example. And as drone technology is now disrupting a lot of other industries, from transportation to delivery to surveillance and various others, we have pinpointed one key opportunity where we researched the market for a particular product that we did not find. So what we did is we set an international challenge to find a product delivered to us that does not commercially exist today. So this is where we get an opportunity to give teams to design, develop, and demonstrate a product over a span of 18 months, and hence we launched the DroneX Challenge. The DroneX Challenge is a $1.5 million project where companies, startups, R&Ds, and teams apply. If they are successful, the top will be shortlisted and they will receive R&D grants. This is research and development grant money that we will give them to engineer, design, develop, and actually build a prototype of the model that we are seeking. And along with that, the winner gets a $1 million prize. And this is also one of the ways that we have tapped into R&D, and we are actively working at it right now by not just investing and acquiring startups like the ones here that already have a product. We are now working with startups, working with teams to help them develop the product that we require to fill a current market gap. And that, by the way, is an 18-month challenge that concludes in 2020. Another very ambitious program that we are working with is the Geotech Innovation Program. This was launched jointly between Krypto Labs and the UAE Space Agency. This is an example of how Krypto Labs has worked with some of the most prestigious, ambitious, forward-looking entities in the UAE to work on exciting projects together. This is a project that is focused on UAE-based entrepreneurs only, where they are given very specific categories of submissions that they have to provide on key technologies they're working in, such as urban and rural land management, crisis and border development, and crisis and disaster management. And these are key areas mostly in the field of data science that the UAE Space Agency is looking for filling a particular gap. And Krypto Labs is here to facilitate that process from start to finish, where we seek these teams, we support them, we mentor them, and we prepare them to present and demo their products for potential investment or for potential acquisition by the same organizations that are supporting them. So as an innovation hub, we are also actively working with various local, both private and government-based entities in the field of corporate innovation. And what that means is we are supporting them with various initiatives in innovation. Innovation and entrepreneurship is not only confined to startups and entrepreneurs. It also plays a big role in corporations and governments as well. And we see a trend today shifting towards innovation and entrepreneurship in corporations. Corporations themselves are now looking at various disruptions happening, and they also reckon that innovation is the key to solve their problem. And this is where we see the mindset changing. The corporate structure is now shifting more towards an innovation and entrepreneurial-based mindset at the corporate level. Corporations would rather hire somebody who has an innovative background or an entrepreneurial mindset because they would be more effective in their organization than somebody who does not. And the way that we are doing this is also with our strategic partners in the form of education through corporate innovation and ecosystem development. So Krypto Labs is part of a unique ecosystem where we invest in our own startups and we provide all the necessary support mechanisms. We also have established a lot of key alliances, partnerships with various private entities and governments. But more importantly is the whole innovation ecosystem that we are part and parcel of here in Abu Dhabi that was established only 2 years ago with our partners, for example, Algorithma. This is a product development company based in Abu Dhabi that has developed over 6 products already released to market. This is an example of how we are part of an ecosystem that takes an idea to a complete commercial product in-house, expeditiously, at a very fast pace, and with very high performance and optimization. So we not only invest in startups, we're also part of a system that also develops its own startups. And this is where you get the synergies, where we can link startups that we acquire or that we invest in with startups that we are already working on. And of course, our strategic partnership along with ADFG with 500 startups, one of the world's most ambitious seed accelerators that has invested in over 2,000 companies, that has been doing this for over a decade. This gives us access to over 2,000 startups, to people who are experts in the industry, to massive amounts of VC funding that are available, and for all the cross-collaboration that we can have for our combined efforts. So in the nutshell, this entire ecosystem is what has transformed or has positioned Krypto Labs to become a fully integrated innovation hub. Our outlook for 2019 is just as ambitious as the achievements of 2018. First and foremost, we are looking to expand the space. So on this property, we are looking at building a unique center similar to this one that will be for exclusively technology-based events and summits. We are also looking at opening a space in Dubai that will serve as the Dubai Innovation Hub for Krypto Labs in collaboration with its partners, 500. We also have regional expansion on the ball, and we have 2 locations that have been pinpointed which we are looking to enter in 2019. And in terms of R&D, we have small makers labs that our startups have been very successful at using here. But we are in the process of, in the next few months, of acquiring a 15,000 square foot space that will serve exclusively for research and development and will serve as an engineering lab for the startups that we get on board, for the university teams that we get into R&D, and for the various teams that we get involved in all of our R&D efforts. On the program side, our expansion plans are to initiate an entrepreneurship academy for both startups and universities, expand the existing partnerships that we've established over the last 1 year with the private and the public entities, and last but not least, manifest fully our strategic partnership with 500 in the fields of corporate innovation and ecosystem development. So Sheikh Zayed was the leading visionary behind the transformation of the UAE into an innovation hub, and for transforming it into a UAE, into a knowledge-based economy. Krypto Labs was mandated to do the same. And as 2018 and the year of Zayed are both coming to an end, we dedicate the success of Krypto Labs in 2018 to the year of Zayed. Thank you very much for coming this evening, and we will now transition to a brief video.
If you think about the core business of Krypto Labs, I can say it in 5 words: incubation, mentorship, networking, seed funding, and catalysis. Krypto Labs is the first incubator ecosystem, one that will redefine the future home of technological innovations right here in our beloved Abu Dhabi.
Drone Innovation Startup Contest 2018 is Valero!
تصنع المصانع، الرجال هي اللي تصنع سعادته، الرجال هي اللي تصنع حياته، الرجال اللي هي تصنع حاضرها ومستقبلها.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the competition stage of this evening. First, I would like to introduce our jury members, Dr. Saleh Al-Hashmi, the Managing Director of Krypto Labs, Jeffrey Alfonso, the Chief Executive Officer of Aleph Education, Asher Siddiqui, Partner at 500 Startups, and Dr. Najla Al-Naqbi, Innovation and E-Learning Manager at Abu Dhabi's Department of Education and Knowledge. Our first startup is related to 21st century learning, which requires the development of critical thinking and innovation and collaboration and creativity in developing the future workforce. This startup is leveraging classroom discussions to develop some of these skill sets. Please welcome Bobby McDonald from Parlay, all the way from Canada.
Hi everyone, my name is Bobby and I'm the founder and CEO of Parlay, class discussions for a better tomorrow. Daily lectures, rote memorization, and standardized tests. These have dominated education for centuries, but these alone are no longer sufficient in the age of artificial intelligence. The world moves quickly, and in the next decade, half of the jobs in our current society will either be gone or automated entirely. That's why it's absolutely essential that we help the students of the future develop the skills that make them uniquely human. Skills like analytical reasoning, emotional intelligence, and communication. Since ancient times, we have understood that these skills can be developed through rigorous classroom discussions. More recently, research shows that discussion doubles learning outcomes compared to your typical classroom strategies. So, with this knowledge at Parlay, we've sought to reinvent and reimagine class discussions for the 21st century. How does it work? It all starts with the Parlay universe. This is a content library and a community of teachers who create and share discussion topics with other educators from around the world. Here's one example of a discussion prompt that uses research-backed strategies to help develop discussion questions and encourage students to have meaningful discussions about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Teachers can easily add this to their Parlay classroom. which takes us to the next step of a Parlay discussion and the core component of our app, which are the roundtable discussions. These can happen inside the classroom, as you see here with this group of students from Iowa. These are 6th grade students. Or it can happen at home as a blended learning activity. It starts where each student submits a response to the discussion prompt that we saw. Then they build on and challenge each other's ideas, so they construct knowledge together in a collaborative environment. Then we get into the classroom and students have a verbal conversation. If they want to speak, they simply raise their digital hand, which carves out space for them to contribute to the discussion using a queue system. This way, every student has a voice in a Parlay discussion. Finally, teachers assess students on the development of these skills and provide feedback as the discussion unfolds. This leads us to the final part of Parlay, which is the engagement data that we provide to teachers and educators. Engagement data could be at the class level, where Parlay gives teachers the ability to understand holistically how students contributed to the conversation, who contributed, and who did they talk to. We also use artificial intelligence and sentiment analysis to help teachers understand what grade level students are reading and writing at, and also to give them emotional intelligence indicators, like the use of empathy, formality, and positivity in conversation. Finally, teachers can track the development of these skills and student engagement over time. This is the value that we add to our customers, to our schools ultimately, who want new and unique insights about how their students are developing these skills in the 21st century. On our end, we can take this data and understand better the relationships between classroom discussion engagement and the development of these 21st century skills. Then, we can provide meaningful feedback to both teachers and students. And finally, we can use that feedback to improve the quality of discussion and enable further student growth. This is one example of the kinds of positive feedback loops that we're going to use to power the minds of the future. So let's talk about our impact in the classroom. In a typical classroom in the United States and in Canada, you have about 24 students. Now, on average, 6 of those students, so 25%, will willingly and actively participate in a classroom discussion. Parlay roundtables see participation consistently above 75%. So you have this amazing activity that starts with 6 kids normally, but now you have 18, 19, 20, 21 kids getting the benefits of this educational activity. And that's why we have teachers like Katie here from Illinois, who say, I cannot express how much I am in love with Parlay ideas. Every student does the assignment when I use it. Let's talk about our business model and our plans for growth. We've spent the last 2 years working side by side with teachers, students, and administrators from some of the best international and private schools in Canada. They became our first dozen paying customers, and Parlay is a subscription model that starts at $4 per student per year, and we had 5,000 students before this school year started. Then, we turned our sights towards the public K-12 market in North America, a much bigger market, and we started our first 6 district pilots and doubled our user base. It's on the back of this that we established a partnership with an organization called CDI Technologies. Now, they are a massive distributor of hardware and software in the public K-12 space in North America. They have over 10,000 schools that they serve and over 100 sales reps that are actively selling Parlay into their existing customer base starting in the new year. We're also partnering with organizations like Inspire Citizens because we're also turning our sights to the global international school market. This group in particular is based in East Asia, but we're looking for similar partnerships around the world as well. All of this to say that we're going to hit our goals of 500,000 students and at least $1 million in ARR in the next 2 years. Beyond that, the current market opportunity is about $450 million in our current environment, in our current niche, given our current price point. But the global EdTech market will be over $250 billion by 2020. And Parlay's unique approach to teaching these 21st century skills through discussion can easily expand to K-12, higher ed, corporate ed, and other forms of lifelong learning. We have a great team behind us of entrepreneurs, researchers, teachers, and of course developers who are working hard every day to make this a reality. Ultimately, our aim is to create learning experiences that inspire the next generation to reach levels of cognitive ability and interpersonal skills that are unmatched from anything in human history. We believe this is our collective responsibility and well within our grasp. If you invest in Parlay, you're investing in this belief.
Thank you very much for your presentation. And I just want to comment one thing first, that I like you have in your background a teacher in the development area. I mean, you know, it's very important to have an education background also, or a teacher who are really in the classroom. They know the environment, they know how to deal with the students. They are in your development team.
Absolutely.
This is very important, and that's good you have them there.
Thank you.
My question will be more in education and technology part. Maybe I will leave the technical and entrepreneur part with my colleagues.
Sounds good.
So first of all, it can be used in mobile, or it is only PC as a device.
Good question. So it is a mobile application. Sorry, it is a desktop application.
Yeah.
So it's used on a web browser.
Yeah.
So it can be used on a laptop, on an iPad. It does scale down to mobile. It's not something we focused on because all of the schools that we initially worked with had Chromebooks in the classroom. It's a really big thing in North America. Building a full-fledged mobile app is in our roadmap. It just hasn't been a priority today.
But it's very important now. You know that how our kids now, they are really moving to the mobile, and as more as small mobile, they are going with apps. They like to go with the, you know, how to make it more easy for the student and the teacher. It's very to have them anytime 24/7 to be part of this discussion. So as soon as it is really easy to interact, really easy to log in, really as much as make it very few steps, really easy to use it, that's very important to have it in your future plan for sure.
Absolutely.
One more question, which is how do you say that from all these data analysis you are having or data collecting you are collecting, then you are measuring the 21st century skills for our students or the one who are using your software. How you do it? What framework you are measuring the 21st centuries in a kids? How skills, of course, in the kids.
That's a very good question. So there's a couple parts to that answer. Number one is teachers create a rubric or an evaluation criteria, and their goal ultimately is to evaluate students on their contributions to the discussion within the framework of these competencies. So that's like the first and simplest version of it. The next thing that we do is we use things like natural language processing to help teachers, give teachers new insights. So for example, what grade level is the specific student reading or writing at? So that gives us more information. Also what we do is ultimately we measure the quantity and quality and consistency of engagement in these specific discussions. Now these discussions and the way that they're organized and architected and the scaffolding and a whole bunch of stuff that I'm happy to get into is done so based on the best possible research. So if you can see consistent improvement in students' contributions to these conversations, and the teacher has the ability to give feedback based on this data and not just a number score, then you can draw correlations between the development of those skills and their engagement in the discussion.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Hi there. Thank you very much also for your presentation.
Thanks.
I've got two questions. In terms of your growth, your goal to reach 500,000 students, what do you think other than investment is maybe the key limitations in terms of building a product to be able to scale?
In terms of building the product or the team?
The product and the team.
Yeah, so I think for the product, it's actually in quite a good place right now to be able to scale. So we built the technology with millions of users in mind, and we've actually, JC, who's over there, is our senior most developer, and he actually works all the time to make sure that we're ready for that scale. And so we've put that in place from a technological standpoint. From a usability standpoint, we have things like single sign-on and integrations with Google and Google Classroom, which are huge in North America, so we can handle a large volume of sign-ups and users that way. And then in terms of the team size, we have a model where we actually find teachers who are part-time teachers or recent graduates from teaching school, and they become what are called our instructional strategists. So their goal is to work with the teacher from freemium sign-up all the way to customer success. So it's a huge pool of teachers that are available and willing to get into the education space who work directly with other teachers in the classroom. So from that angle, we're also prepared to serve an increasing number of customers with the appropriate investment and as cash flows grow.
And the second question is, I mean, in today's market, especially in EdTech, there are a lot of collaboration tools in the classroom. Everyone's trying to crack this nut. So,
totally.
Google Classroom, you look at Edmodo, ClassDojo. So what do you think is really kind of the unique variable that your product offers? Some of those tools have collaborations between teachers and students. You can capture data. So what makes you think, what is really the key unique value proposition of Parlay compared to some of those other collaboration tools that are saturating, especially in the North American market?
Yeah, totally. That's a really good question and one we think about all the time. So we get the question about, how are you different from Google Classroom? So the way that I would describe it is a lot of these learning management systems are sort of like the jacks of all trades. If you look at Google Classroom's discussion, platform. So specifically their written discussion platform, it's quite basic and intentionally so. But parlays, and I'm happy to get into it, and if you want to sort of see a deep dive, but we've baked in the best possible research practices to make sure that at sort of every corner, we're doing everything we can to enhance critical thinking and collaboration skills. So in that case, it's very specifically designed to do that. And on top of that is the spectrum. So we had the Parlay Universe to start, which is a content library that teachers are creating Parlay sort of specific content for that. So they start there and they publish that into the online roundtable. And ultimately, once that online discussion is complete, so each student has submitted their own unique idea, they built on each other's ideas, they have that foundation, then you go to the live roundtable, which is really a one-of-a-kind tool in terms of tracking and measuring engagement in a face-to-face environment. And so that whole spectrum creates a much more meaningful discussion. And so it's very, very focused in. If you look at an organization like Google, and we integrate with them, their goal is to create an ecosystem. Google Classroom is kind of like the mothership. To create an ecosystem of companies like Parlay who dive really deep on a specific thing, because that keeps everyone coming back to Google Classroom.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks. So I actually just wanted to dig a little bit deeper into my colleague's earlier question, which is, so how difficult is this to replicate, and how unique is it? We're just trying to understand defensibility.
Yeah, totally. So I would say from the get-go, defensibility is really about the content library. So that's building a community. So network effects is a big thing that we're working on, and it's actually a pretty new thing. Teachers from the Parlay Universe are starting to contribute to that network and to that community, and they're building a portfolio. You can build defensibility via network effects. But what I discussed earlier in terms of using the unique data that we're collecting as a result of these very specific sort of pedagogy-backed activities, we'll be able to understand student engagement in unique ways and be able to provide feedback about what a great conversation would look like. And so that is unique data and a unique proprietary thing that we will be able to have that will help increase the quality of student engagement. So as the data set builds, ultimately we can leverage and mine that data set to create the tools that others couldn't.
Are there other companies out there that are doing something similar to you?
So at the risk of sounding naive, not that I've seen. There are companies that, as discussed, like Google Classroom has their own discussion tool. There are companies that have other collaboration tools. But in terms of a broad but specific focus rather on discussion and facilitating 21st century skills through discussion, there's no one I've seen who's doing what we're doing.
And so you're saying your unique sort of defensibility is around creating network effects.
Yeah.
The thing is, you're very, very early stage.
Mm-hmm.
So how difficult do you think it would be for somebody else to build something very similar to yours and maybe get similar network effects through, ultimately network effects, what I'm getting at is, I guess I'm thinking you get teachers, you get schools, you get students, and the more you have, the better it is, right?
Yes.
More defensible it is. So I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, that's it, or is there something else that's in there? I mean, you tell me. Is there anything else that makes you sort of more uniquely?
Totally. So when it comes to some of the natural language processing that you saw earlier, so things like understanding empathy and formality of language and positivity, we're working with a partner who has deep knowledge and experience in psychometric analysis from Toronto, and they're helping us build that tool out for our specific platform. So that's an example of something that we have been building for a long time on our existing data set to sort of refine and provide those insights. And then we have been building a pretty substantial data set as well through the last year and a half, which we're starting to look into building those sort of proprietary feedback mechanisms. So that, again, will give us that defensibility.
Final question.
Go for it.
Actually, final two questions. So one is IP. Do you have any IP around this, or?
So we don't have any IP currently, and the reason is, in Canada and North America, you can't really file intellectual property on software. It's only when the software integrates with hardware, typically.
And the other thing is revenues. Where are you at?
So we're at about 30,000 in annual recurring revenue now. But like I said, we just struck up this partnership with this organization that's going to give us a pretty big boost.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Actually, actually, one more question.
Yeah, go
for it. So, how did you arrive at the $4 per your pricing?
Yeah. Okay. So we started in the private school space. Private schools can afford more than $4 per student per year, but we wanted Parlay to be accessible to the broader K-12 market in North America and ultimately the world. And so we looked at comparison pricing of other similar tools and how they were pricing it. we looked at sort of what's the average cost in an EdTech tool, and $4 seemed to be a place where we thought it commanded a slightly premium price in that public K-12 market, but that was also ultimately something that we could really use as a foundation to get into schools. The goal will be to take the data and up the price to really land and expand within those schools as we are able to provide more value.
One final question, and then I'll stop talking. But what other, do you have any other product roadmaps out there to sort of expand and increase that pie?
Yeah, totally. So one of the things actually we were just talking about in a little more detail today is we're looking at building sort of, I don't want to say games, but activities or modules that are less flexible than these that teach students very specific critical thinking skills. So teach them about building and evaluating arguments, teach them about things like logical fallacies and how to understand those, so we can help teachers establish a foundation for a lot of the techniques that they're going to need when they use Parlay. Another element that we're looking at is reflection is a really, really big part of sort of constructivist educational pedagogy. And so we're going to build a tool, hopefully, that allows reflection and self-evaluation in much the same way that you saw it here, very interactive, but personal student-to-teacher conversation. So those are some of the things that we're exploring as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We just, given the interest in Parlay, we just wanted to point out that each of you has a sheet here where you can tick mark any of the companies you're interested in, and we will be happy to collect this from you at the end of the event and connect you to the companies. Experiential learning is more and more important in the learning environments of the future. Access to hands-on experiments in biotechnology has been out of reach for most K-12 students until now. Please welcome from Singapore, Dr. Yasmin from Lab 42. 42 Lab.
Good evening. My name is Yasmin, co-founder of 42 Lab. STEM education is being required in schools around the world. Life science, and especially biotechnology, is at the forefront. Yet, 60% of our next generation get no or minimal hands-on education in this field. Schools and students are not ready for teaching biotech because the equipment are expensive and the teachers are not updated in the field. 42 Lab brings biotech into the classroom. Our A4 size mini laboratory is 100 times more affordable than traditional biotech equipment. With the modular design, you can mix and match equipment like Lego. Our smart companion app serves as an electronic manual for students and a management tool for teachers. Let's take a look at this video to better understand how we plan to democratize biotech education. Overall, we revolutionized the way biotech is taught. Our mini laboratory makes it accessible. Our smart app enhances learning for students and teaching for teachers. Through our experiments, we bring novel technologies such as genetic engineering and bionics and simplify it to the current level of science curricula. Our users are kids of 8 to 17 years old. We have a B2B model catering to schools and enrichment centers. We charge them a yearly subscription fee per student and sell our mini labs. Our primary market are ASEAN countries as well as China, and that translates into a service addressable market of $9 billion. We held trials for over 250 students and saw it firsthand, the impact that our mini lab has in enhancing students' learning. We have 5 customers as of now, and to scale faster, we have established 2 strategic partnerships. One is with Marshall Cavendish, which is one of Asia's largest textbook publisher. They will distribute to 2,000 students in 30 schools, starting from this coming January, and this number will go up to 5,000 students in year 2020. Although we have two main competitors, but we hold key advantages. Our mini lab is more affordable. Our experiments are more flexible due to modularity of our system. And we are the only company that has an AI-powered companion app. Our team has 12 years of experience in science, engineering, and education. I have a PhD in biomedical engineering. My co-founder, Data, has a PhD in physics and self-taught himself coding. We got this far with the help of a talented team of 8. We're also backed up by renowned entities such as Entrepreneur First and SG Innovate in Singapore and Cyberport in Hong Kong. We also have a strong advisory board, 6 advisors from different sectors of business, education, and technology. We're raising $1 million to make biotech accessible because every student deserves an opportunity to learn life science through doing, not reading. So support us in our exciting journey. Since I think still have a few seconds, I'd like to tell you more about our product. So this is our genetics laboratory, the blueprint of life, where you can do different experiments. So we have developed a few experiments, which you can see sample manuals in your booklet. So some of the experiments include extracting DNA, which I did this afternoon. Dr. Saleh, would you like to look at the DNA? I bring it down. Here you go. So here is the short glimpse of how it's done. So the DNA is extracted. Then we get a piece, we put in a centrifuge to purify it. As you can see, it's precipitated. Then we load it into a gel because DNA is negatively charged. So we use electricity to help it run through a gel. Then we use our transilluminator, which is blue light, in order to visualize it. The next step is to use a modular, which 20 modules can do 80 experiments. This is our companion app. You can follow procedures. Students can answer a question. They can plot charts and compare results. For the teacher, it serves as a management tool. They can track the students' progress as they're doing the experiments, and then they can manage their classroom, because we want to give personalized learning for each student. I would be happy to get any questions.
Very exciting, and I like the idea of having biology, because as you say, biology is very few to have technology, and also few to encourage students to love biology and work with biology.
Yes, especially biotechnology is kind of like computers 50 years back. They're becoming more portable, more affordable, and it's unfortunate that our next generation wouldn't find out about this exciting tool.
Very good. So my question is, when you say the personalized learning with your device, so it's like, just I want to make sure that each student will have his own kit, or you are having a group to work with this kit?
For the mini laboratory,
yes,
right?
yes.
We suggest that 2 to 3 students would work together as a group, and the reason is that usually teachers and schools rather if the students actually do it in a teamwork, and it enhances communication, it enhances problem solving as a group. But what we do is that while they work with the app, they have to answer questions using their own mobile device or using their own app, so it would be a individualized worksheets for each student, and then it does adapt to the level of understanding of each student. The other thing that we're developing is that it tracks the behavior of the student with the facial recognition, and then we track the mood of a student as they're doing experiments. And if a student is struggling or they're excited, then the teacher would know about that data in order to enhance their pedagogy.
So they have to use their own devices or mobile with this one so that they can have it.
Usually schools actually have devices, but if not, most of the kids nowadays have mobile devices, and for some of the schools, the feedback that we got is that the students can use their own mobile device for some of the activities.
That's good. So just I want to recall, so you use it with you experiment this one when you're back home or in Singapore or somewhere. Did you use it with the schools and teachers?
Yes, for the trials that we did, as well as the customers that we have.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. How many students or how many schools did you use?
So we have 5 customers at our school as our customers as of now. But with the partnership with Marshall Cavendish, it will increase to 30 schools.
Okay.
For the trials that we did for over 250 students.
Okay. So good luck in that. Good luck.
Thank you.
Great pitch, thank you. I have a couple questions. One of your slides said 27.5% are on consumables. So can you talk to me about the model in terms of how you sell the product and essentially what's the model? So that $300 or $350.
Yeah.
So are there replaceable consumables every year that a school would have to purchase? Can you just explain that to me in a little bit of detail?
So that $350 is for our mini laboratory. The other revenue would be the app subscription, which also includes the ready-to-go kits, all the consumables that come with every experiment.
Okay.
And this mini laboratory, they usually only need to buy 10 to 15 units, depending on the size of a class, for each class, and then they can rotate from one class to another. So the main stream of revenue would come from the app subscription.
Okay. And in terms of the different curriculums that you serve, in terms of the grades, you said, I think there was IB, US, NGSS. So how do you do that? Do you actually work with schools to actually map some of those experiments to those key learning outcomes?
Exactly. So we always look at the current science curricula, and then we design experiments based on that. And for every school that we have the customers, we usually map it to their level of, or to their framework to show that it maps, or how it maps to their current curriculum.
Is that a services model, or how is that included in the $300, or is that a separate service model where you actually go and look at the school, the curriculum, and map it? And that's one question.
So
the
it's
second
part
is
of what
grades?
we do. It's part of what we do. So the manuals, for instance, that you see, we have the experiments, and then we map it to the units or the courses that the school offers. But the good thing is that the NGSS and IB curriculum is quite standard. So once we have for one school, like we just give the same to every other school.
Okay. And in terms of the actual kits, in terms of production time, how long does it take to actually manufacture a single kit?
So now we are doing, for the current customers that we have, we actually handmade each of those. It takes around 1 to 2 days for each unit. But for our mass production, we plan to have the mass production starting from the first quarter of next year. And we plan to start with 2,000 to 5,000 units.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
So, in terms of the products, the physical products, what are your margins on those products?
So the cost for us for the mini laboratory is around 100, and then we sell for 350.
Okay.
Then for the app, obviously, the number of users go up, the margin would go up.
And how are you going to scale that production? So you said you're going to have 2,000. Where are you going to produce?
So we're going to produce in Shenzhen area. My co-founder Data, he used to have another startup, a hardware startup, so he's very familiar with the Shenzhen area. He's from Hong Kong, so that's where we're going to mass manufacture.
Okay, cool, thanks. And what are your revenues now? Remind me again.
For currently, right?
Yeah.
It's nearly 10K. But with the average contract size for per school for now is 1,000 to 2,000. But with the partnership with Marshall Cavendish, we expect our revenue for 2019 to be over 200K.
So, and that is just with, that is just with the physical devices?
with the whole package of the subscription as well as the
Okay,
physical
the subscription
mini
as well.
laboratory. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Hello, thank you for the
Thank you.
presentation. I just have one question. So I understand that not many suppliers have kits for biotech, which I think is a niche area. But how do you protect yourself from copycats coming in? Is it the platform? Is it the AI? Is it experiments?
It's the combination of all, both hardware and software. One of the things is that since we are one of the first movers in this space, we will track students' performance over the years, and it will be hard for schools to switch to another system because all the records are in our system. The other thing is the modularity of our system. Because of that, we can have 20 modules and have 80 experiments because you can mix and match rather than just the fixed version of Mini Laboratory.
So better design, basically.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
While many in the world are developing teaching and learning materials in the English medium, we have millions of students in the Arab world who were left behind until now. Please welcome Saroon from Chem Kalima.
Hello, good evening. You might be wondering why I'm a little bit underdressed for such a serious occasion. But after spending 23 years in the classroom, I have used t-shirts, different t-shirts, to spark different conversations with my students. My name is Sirun Shamigyan, and tonight I chose this t-shirt because it's going to help me tell you the story of how Chem Kalima makes any Arabic teacher become a super teacher. After spending 18 years teaching, I was given the opportunity to train other teachers to use technology effectively in the classroom. It was a job I took really seriously and loved because it combined two of my passions, which is teaching and technology. Teachers, as some of you might know, are in the forefront of the race, and they are bombarded daily with lots of tasks. Arabic teachers, on the other hand, have much more to worry about because, one, there are no tools to help them integrate technology into their classroom, and two, there are no resources to help them integrate 21st century skills into their lesson plans. Therefore, most average teachers, Arabic teachers, spend around 5 hours extra in preparation and assessment. And it really doesn't have to be this way. Technology can actually help solve this problem. We have seen it done globally, and it's time to bring to the Arab world. Now, Arabic is a very difficult language. It's very rigid. The curriculum is outdated in most countries. But apart from these obvious facts, there's also conceptual problems. Technology solutions in the market usually deliver only content, and they don't provide transferable skills. And when only content is, when the technology only provides content, teachers usually feel threatened because they feel like the content is going to replace them. A good EdTech solution should not threaten the teachers because teachers will never be replaced by technology, but teachers who use technology one day will replace teachers who don't use technology. So how do we do this? Usually, when someone looks from the outside, they see school as one entity with one problem: low student grades. Having spent more than 60,000 hours in the classroom, the founding team of Chem Kalima, when we look at schools, we see different stakeholders and each one with a different set of problems. For example, while the school administration cares about student results, teachers really care about the day-to-day operations and how to make them more effective. On the other hand, students just want to have fun and don't want to feel engaged when they learn. And we have designed a solution that easily and seamlessly integrates to fill all these needs. And who needs this? Millions of students in the Arab world need this. And our research shows that 44% of the schools in the Arab world already have the infrastructure to integrate a solution like Chem Kalima. Chem Kalima is a subscription-based platform where schools pay a yearly subscription fee per student. what we did is we benchmarked initially our pricing model against other EdTech solutions that are being used in the region, and last year we tested this in the market. We are currently serving more than 20,000 students in 6 countries. Our expansion plan has 2 strategies. A few months ago, we signed a distributor deal in Jordan, and that has helped us grow in that market. And a few weeks ago, we hired an account executive in Egypt. This way, soon we will be able to test which strategy works as most efficient for us. Now, who's our competitor? Weirdly enough, our biggest competitor is status quo, because schools and teachers are very rigid and they're very resistant to change. But as a team, we have 3 strengths that helped us grow so fast in a very short time. The education background of the founding and the managing team not only helped us build a product that seamlessly integrates in any Arabic curriculum, but it also has helped us when we talk to the school leaders because we understand their problems. So it has helped us sell and scale on the ground. We are the only Arabic EdTech platform that provides writing development skills in the proper method. And finally, our technology is in line with our education philosophy. No learner is the same. Therefore, we use smart technology and machine learning to cater to the needs of every single learner. We launched in 2017, and since September 2017 till date, we have generated revenues of more than $300,000. Our team brings together expertise from education technology, research, smart technology, design, and machine learning, operations, and finance. We work tirelessly every day towards one mission. But however hard and overwhelmed we feel during the day, we never forget to sit together and plan for the future. The data we are collecting will help improve education in the region. Our team is also helping in the global effort to bring Arabic language processing into the forefront. And finally, we believe that education and homework should not just be for grading. We like to give students voice. Therefore, we will soon be publishing student writings that are being produced on the platform for the public use. Ultimately, we want to reach millions of teachers and students in the Arab world. And we want them to improve their language skills, because we believe language is a vessel that transfers with it more important skills like critical thinking and problem solving. So we don't want the students just to succeed in the school. We want to build them to succeed in life. And we don't do it alone. We actually support teachers and build their skills so that they become our partners in this shared vision, and we make them super teachers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, very nice, and that's good. You are thinking about also the Arabic field. As you said, most of our students, they like to go to the English part because there is a lot of interesting and very motivative, softwares or to teach them English or so on, but very less in Arabic. Just my question, I'm not sure if I missed that. I did not see the software itself, so I don't know if you will show us a little bit?
I mean, we have a small video of only the bot. So our software doesn't do one thing. So it's very difficult to show it in 5 minutes. So because we cater for all the needs, so we have different accounts and cater for different needs. If we have time and you want to see how the robot of the student works, we have a video. I don't know if we can play it. Okay, and it's in Arabic.
It's fine. Let's see.
Yes, it's a 90-second video.
90 seconds. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
كم كلمة هي منصة إلكترونية ذكية تصقل مهارات الكتابة والقراءة باللغة العربية. من خلال آليات البرمجة الذكية توفر منصة كم كلمة فرصة للتعليم الفردي ليحصل كل طالب على الدعم الذي يلائم حاجاته. لنرى عن قرب ما يحصل وراء الكواليس في مواجهة الأخطاء الشائعة في التعبير الكتابي. قد يلجأ الطالب إلى استعمال كلمات عامية فتسرع المساعدة الذكية مفردات وتقترح المرادف الفصيح، وحين يقع الطالب في خطأ تكرار الكلمات تعرض له بدائل مفيدة. أما عندما يعاني طالب من استرجاع قاعدة تعلمها يظهر المساعد قواعد ليذكره بتلك القاعدة ويعطيه مثالا لضمان كتابة الجملة الصحيحة. ماذا لو لم يعرف الطالب شروط كل نوع من أنواع الكتابات المطلوبة منه؟ يأتي دور المساعد الثالث بنية النص وترشده نحو البنية الصحيحة لكل فرد. وأخيرا، ما أكثر اللحظات التي يشعر فيها الطالب بالتردد أو الضياع؟ فيأتي دور المساعد الرابع مراجع الذي يعرض له مقاطع صغيرة من الكتابات المميزة لتحفيزه وإثراء مخزونه اللغوي والفكري. مع التعليم الذكي من كم كلمة أصبح تعلم الكتابة بسيطا وممتعا.
So this is one feature of the student. So there are multiple features for each stakeholder of the Arabic education from A to Z, because we cover preparation, delivery, assessment, correction, and student progress reports.
Yeah, very good. And this is for catering, I think, from K to 12, yes?
Grade 4 to 12.
Grade 4 to
Yeah.
12, yes, so that they can type now.
Yeah.
And that's good. I like the idea of that you are correcting them in spot. I like the idea of having a student write their own stories or their own writing, and then you are publishing.
Yeah, we publish them on.
That's very good. That's really empowering the student work.
Thank you.
I don't just only comments. I like the idea of having educational background to develop this. Good to have an Arabic content in this kind of very simple, especially the most important, very simple for the student and the teacher, and very teaching them how to write in Arabic.
We produce our own content.
Yeah. Maybe some of the conflict there, people may ask that do they need to the handwriting or the typing, but from my vision as in education and most of it, that the most important for me, the student know the skill how to write, skill of writing instead of if it is writing by hand or by typing. Yeah.
I mean, students type English, they don't forget how to write it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi. Thank you for your presentation. Couple questions. In terms of the engagement of students, what have you seen in terms of the schools that you're working with? Students being able to type and the chatbot being able to give them corrective ways of writing Arabic. But can you talk us through some of...
Yes, sure. That's a good question. Because usually the first reaction of student for anything is nagging. And because they don't know how to type Arabic, of course it's difficult at the beginning. But what we do is we support the teachers. So we have lesson plans that provide only writing a sentence to start with. We ask them to put a comment on a library item to start with. And students, their first language really is technology. It's not anything else. So they usually pick it up very quickly, and especially when they see the bot, who's named Fahim, by the way. They like to engage. They type to see what's happening. So the integration, like last year, activity was lower. This year, on a day-to-day basis, we have at least 1,000 to 1,500 students on daily basis working on the platform.
And in terms of maybe your product roadmap, I know you talked about NLP. Are you looking at other basically subject areas other than Arabic language, or is it solely focused around Arabic?
So we believe in doing one thing, and that one thing, doing it well before branching out. Yes, for a vision, yes, when we meet as a team, we talk about other subjects, but other subjects in Arabic.
In Arabic.
Because there's a lot going on out there. So instead of competing, we're trying to take this opportunity to fill the gap.
And another question, are you working, what's your ratio in terms of your schools, ministry schools versus private schools?
All private.
It's all private.
It's all private now. Because with ministry schools, even though they contact us, but the process is very difficult. We did this with 6 members. Now we're 15, but it was our time and resources were short, so we targeted private schools.
Okay. Well, no question.
Thank you.
Focus. No. Thanks. No, I already asked you a lot.
Okay, yeah, okay. Thank you.
Education of the future needs to be inclusive for everyone, not just for the mainstream population. Please welcome Adriano from Key to Enable. They are developing accessibility solutions for universal education.
You all probably remember the emotion of writing your name for the very first time. But how longer would that take if you just could never grab a pencil like Julia, for example. Okay? And what if people had to interpret the blinking of your eyes to figure out what you're trying to say, just like Daniel did every single day? Would you have made it to the college that way? And how many schools would have accepted you if you had an intellectual disability, like Laura? I'm asking you this because there are more than 230 million people with some severe motor or intellectual disabilities. And what does it have to do with education? Well, everything. Schools are just not prepared enough to educate and integrate those special students. And that leads to segregation of them, and segregation leads to lack of opportunities for those special students when they grow old, and less development of their potential skills, and that leads to more prejudice in our society. But the good news is, as for Julia, you don't have to worry about her. Even though she still cannot hold that pencil, now Julia writes. And Daniel may never use his own voice to talk, but now Daniel communicates. And Laura will never learn about her own limitations because now she's busy enough learning about everything else at school, thanks to KeyX. KeyX is a revolutionary set of assistive devices and software that helps anyone with any motor disability to use computers and mobile devices, to write, to have lessons, to play games. And everything can be done in KeyX only by blinking the eye. But that's not all. KeyX is part of an educational platform that uses artificial intelligence to help teachers and educators to create more engaging and interactive activities and unleash the very true potential of those special students. And in fact, bringing technology, bringing education to disabled students is much more than a humanitarian mission. It's also a great business opportunity. And in fact, it's a $19 billion market that grows more than 7% every single year, thanks to the aging of population and the improvement of life conditions in places like Latin America and Africa. And we at Key2 Enable have always believed that. And that's why we've been bootstrapping our company since our very foundation. We've been reinvesting back all of the revenues we made with KeyX by selling it for $2,000 a unit for the past 4 years, and now we are ready to go exponential. We have already $2.4 million in contracts in Brazil for 2019, and we can achieve the very same results in the United States as well in only 12 months with a $2.5 million investment. And we can do this because we have a team of very experienced serial entrepreneurs and a very talented and skilled technical core. But you don't have to take my word for that. You can always trust Singularity University, because in 2018, Key2 Enable has become one of their few portfolio companies from that institution. And I'm that smiling guy over here. I know I look young here, but I'm in the assistive technology business for 10 years now. And hopefully, soon enough, I will have some brilliant new teammates. How about that? Julia is the best student at math at her classroom. Daniel is already computing and photoshopping just by blinking his eyes. And Laura is already learning how to read and then to write. How about that? But one thing is for sure, you're going to love to join us for more extraordinary stories like Julia's, Daniel's, and Laura's. And I am Adriano from Key2 Enable, and it's going to be a pleasure to show you some people in real action with KeyX. Come on, Rubija. This is my business partner. Thank you. Okay, let's do it. Let's do something live. What about writing my own name with the blinking of my eyes, just like Daniel has been doing? All right. Okay. So I'm going to blink my eyes to combine some of those colored buttons, and then I'm going to write my name. Okay, letter A with the blue, followed by the yellow. All right? And then letter D would be achieved by combining the blue and the red colored button. Okay. You see the difficulty that a person with disability has to overcome, but with KeyX, it is made much more easy. I just don't need to type in every single letter of my name. If I type only the 3 first letters, then an intelligent accelerator of typing can help me to complete just by blinking my eyes. That's my name. I'm pretty emotional right now because I did it just like Daniel did. And it would be a pleasure to show you Daniel in live action, just like this. Okay, this is Daniel. Nice to meet you, Daniel. You are in Abu Dhabi right now. He's photoshopping. He's blinking his eyes to control KeyX, and this is his classroom. He's doing the very same activity as his colleagues. This is integration. This is education, and this is inclusion. Thank you very much, Daniel. Okay. Now, if somebody has some questions, that will be a pleasure to have them.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation, and also thank you for to think about this idea. I mean, especially assistive technologies. So my question is, what the difference in the field of assistive technologies? What is unique in your device? Because there is some devices with, the student can choose the color or the letter, or maybe can even blink. But what's really the unique from your device or system?
Okay, there was a video that unfortunately didn't play during the presentation, but KeyX is a platform that makes people with different natures of disabilities to use computers and mobile devices, but by different ways. If somebody has a limited motion or limited fine motor coordination skills, it can just tap those colored buttons that are touch sensitive and combine them just the way I did by blinking, but not by blinking, but touching it, and then it can write everything and also use the mouse. That's one way of using it. It can also be used with the feet if it's better for the individual. And if the individual cannot stretch their limbs up to reach those buttons, it can use any kind of accessories that makes part of our set. One of our accessories are the eye blinking devices that works almost as a last resource for very, very severe disabilities. But we have plenty of other peripherals to more specific disabilities. But anyone can use KeyX to control machines and like computers, mobile device, doing like this. And for those who have intellectual disabilities, we have a specialized program with artificial intelligence that, with assistance of the teachers and the educators, they can build in 5 minutes or less lessons and activities for those disabled students to answer by touching or blinking the eyes. So it's an entire set, and what makes us different? It's this is a centerpiece of a wider solution for for a wider variety of different disabilities, and then we are helping the individuals themselves and the teachers and the educators and the families of those individuals.
Maybe, yes. So you are also supporting the parents or as you said, the teacher with some lesson plan or how to use this in their teaching or maybe with their kids, yeah? Because you are giving them, it's not only the device, you are also giving them how to use it, example of using it. That would be good also to have.
Sure. Yeah, it's not just selling hardware.
Yeah.
That our many competitors do just that because they are competitors in the assistive technology market.
Yes.
We are bringing assistive technology to the EdTech market.
Yes,
that's the difference.
That's good. That's good. Thank you. Very nice. Project.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your presentation. It's very humble and noble to see what you're doing with these children. In terms of all of the maybe different disabilities that device can actually help support in terms of the different and the different technologies, what's the level of training and sophistication for maybe a teacher in a classroom to be able to use a product like that?
Well, for the individual with motor disability but with no intellectual disability, it's quite trivial. With one sentence, with one command, he can understand and figure out how it happens. People say that good products must have not do not have to have an instruction manual, and that's what happens with KeyX. But for the classroom use, then we have the educational support for the teachers and the staff that helps the inclusion of those students with disabilities. We have a virtual environment of learning designed for the teachers to help them to help them learn how to create more engaging activities using our platform. And for those students or only individuals that are at home needs some accessibility for computers or mobile devices like this, we can sell directly to them, no problem. But for classrooms, the most recommended solution is the entire set.
And what's the manufacturing cost of a device?
Sorry?
You sell it for $2,000 a unit, is that correct?
Yeah.
What does it cost you to actually produce the device?
It costs $750 to produce, and then we sell it for $2,000. That's the gross profit for the hardware.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thanks. Could you remind me of your revenue again?
Sorry?
Your revenues?
Okay. You want to see it
Yeah,
again?
sorry, I missed that slide.
Okay.
It was up there.
Okay. So revenue. Traction. Okay. Here it is. That's how we built our traction, all entirely built in Brazil. Yeah. And now you're stepping into the United States.
Okay, and so your model is you don't sell the device on its own, you sell a package. So
yeah.
This is a subscription package?
For schools, we are currently selling the package, okay? But for end users at home, we are validating a model of subscription in Brazil. Because for them, they need just to use one or two parts of the hardware. So it makes more sense for end users to subscribe instead of actually purchasing the entire set. And we have keep in mind that some kinds of disabilities are only temporary. People can rehabilitate from some conditions, and then they may have to use some assistive devices just for a small period of time, and then they don't need them anymore. So what is he or she going to do with that assistive technology that she purchases? So you can just, as a TV cable, just subscribe for the time that that's making sense for them.
Got it. And how much are you charging for individuals versus schools? What is your pricing?
The pricing, the individual pricing of each of those products are just here. Anyone can just buy any part of the hardware. That is here. In bold are the prices for end users, and in the common letters are the price, the cost of manufacturing.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
So in terms of the addressable market, whether it's a district or a school, what's your addressable number of students usually with disabilities that you guys can help? Is it 1%, 5%, 20%?
It's around 3% of the entire population.
So safely, it's around 3%?
Yeah. 3%.
Conservatively?
3%. And we have calculated the same percentage also for MENA region. It's not very different in Brazil. It's not very different in the United States. In some way, disabilities are kind of democratic, you know. Most of them, like cerebral palsy and stroke and many things that some are from birth and some you just get during your life, but the percentages are quite the same worldwide.
What about autism? So if you look at the population of autistic students, some of them, you know, have severe cases. Some of them don't have severe cases, but roughly in this area of autism, how much can you serve of them? What's the requirements? Can you serve all the spectrum or just a part of it?
Just a part, but in case of autism, we never recommend buying or using the hardware or the solution unassistedly. So for treating autism, for dealing with autism, the only way to use KeyX solutions is assisted by a professional. That can either be the professional of education or a professional of rehabilitation area, like speech therapists or occupational therapists. So when somebody calls in our company, oh, I have a daughter that has some degree of autism, and then I want to purchase the keyboard, for example. We don't do this. We recommend them to convince the school to talk to us, and then we do the correct advice and purchase.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Imagine a scenario where you're learning a foreign language at home versus learning a foreign language in an immersive environment among natives. We have Oliver from Berlin representing class.
Thank you, Pat. I'm Oliver, the CEO and co-founder of Class, and we are disrupting the language travel industry. Language travel is a $35 billion market since 3.2 billion students annually travel to a foreign country to learn and improve a foreign language. Most of them are young. They're between 18 to 25 years old, and usually they learn English. We believe that language skills are crucial for intercultural understanding in a global, digital, and well-connected world. Therefore, it's a shame that the traditional language travel industry completely overslapped the digital transformation. Let's say we want to travel to New York to improve our English there. Then we have to consult an offline agency. There we get a 600 pages print catalog, and based on this catalog, we have to choose our school in New York. The agency then forwards our booking to the school, usually using a fax machine. And hey, it's 2018, right? The school then waits until they have enough faxes, they staple it, and that's a class. That's how they build classes these days. The school then hires some random teachers. They usually use old-fashioned teaching methods. Language travel is very expensive since both agencies and schools charge very high margins and teachers earn a low salary. So quality is usually not good, And yeah, we think that we can do that better. We're fixing that with our AI engine that is at the core of all aspects that make a great language travel experience. So we built an engine that is automatically matching the right student with the right classmates and the right teachers. So we automatically built the perfect class of 10 to 12 students. With our AI-powered learning platform, we're supporting students and teachers inside and outside of the classroom. For example, with tailor-made curriculum, but also with teaching materials or personalized exams. As a platform, we don't have own classrooms. We're collaborating with innovative and modern co-working spaces like this one here. We dynamically rent meeting rooms there, and we use them as classrooms. That's a great opportunity for our students since they meet locals and they're able to do networking. Since our AI engine knows our students very well, we're able to match them with the right host family. So they live with locals and they're able to talk in their language. So we're offering them great language travel experience with full immersion. We've got an experienced team with a strong background in education and travel. I had a startup before, and I was a lecturer at 3 universities in Switzerland. My co-founder, Anil, COO, he has a strong background in management consulting, and he is a PhD student at the University of Zurich. Our third co-founder, Roland, founded the first online travel agency in the German-speaking area, sold it a while ago, and he brings in his travel knowledge. We've got a marketing, dev, and country management team in Berlin. We launched class actually in August last year, focusing on students from the European market, and we sent them to our first destination, London. Next year we're going to scale, we're going to add different sourcing markets, and we're scaling to at least 3 new destinations. And we strongly believe that UAE is an excellent destination for language travel, so we definitely want to scale to UAE next year. And in 2020, we're going to scale globally. Since August last year, we had 220 happy students, generating a revenue of $500,000. So that's revenue per student of $2,300. We're creating a gross revenue of 50%, and currently we're raising a seed round of $2 million. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm happy to answer your questions.
Thank you very much for your presentation. So class is I just want to make sure that I got it very well. So it's like a software that you can learn the language with collaboration with others, or how it is, or through?
Well, actually, we're a platform for language travel. So we're a platform targeting students who want to learn a language abroad.
Okay.
So let's say you want to learn French in France, then you come to our website and book your travel to France. And we then match you with the right classmates and the right teachers in France. We're automatically organizing classrooms and accommodation for you.
Okay.
So careless package for your French learning experience.
Got you. So you're make it easy for the students so that they can, whenever they want to study a language, you can match them with where they can.
And we have an app for our student actually. So there we onboard them. They do a language test, so we're able to match them with the right teachers and the right classmates. Then we're giving the teachers the ability to individually teach them. So they're kind of the human interface for our artificial intelligence.
Yeah, this is very good. Especially you are making the student life is very easy, especially when they are traveling abroad or something, so that they want to learn a language. They want to know the suitable teachers, as you said, or professional teachers or classmates. That's good. So Do you have, so you started with European language, as I said. Did you go with Asian? I mean, now we are working with China a lot, so, and Japanese. So did you have a China?
Actually, it's on a roadmap for 2020. Yeah, these are super interesting destinations and sourcing markets. And yeah, we want to conquer the world, actually. We were building this for the whole world.
Yeah, that's good, that's good. So thank you for your presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your presentation. So how do you source your freelance teachers abroad in each of those countries? What's your strategy?
It's a very good question. We've got a funnel for teachers. Currently, we have a series of around 800 teachers, and then we built some intelligence behind it. So we built a language and educational test and a psychological test for teachers, and we do some background checks, testing some databases, and we also do manual offline interviews with students. So every now and then I'm flying to London and do interviews with teachers.
Okay, and if I read your website right, I think you charge 299 euros per week.
Yep.
Okay, what do you pay a teacher on average to facilitate that 1 week of learning?
Yeah, so since we're building classes and we have on average 10 to 12 students in a class, then it's actually quite easy to get profitable. So we break even on the location after 3.1 students per class. So our margin is getting bigger. And we learned that 10 to 12 students is the optimum per class.
And your center right now is only in London, is that correct?
Excuse me?
The center that you have right now is only in London in terms of travel, or they can travel to different locations?
They're traveling to London. Currently, that's our only destination, but we're adding next year at least 3 new destinations. And I mean, this model it's for us, since we now know how to build destinations, we can copy paste that to almost every destinations, and even build hiking English and hiking classes in Scotland for a group of 8 students or 10 students.
Sure. Okay, and in terms of do the students get anything like in terms of a certification badging or something?
Yeah.
And what is that tied to your own certification process, or can you explain?
Very good question. So we're offering our own certificate, but it's actually very easy to also get a Cambridge certified exam. That's not a problem, and it's kind of just a preparation course for this exams.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks. So you're competing with traditional language schools in different markets. So what is your key advantage? Is it price? Is it, I mean, what is it? I'd love to hear.
Yeah, actually, we're a lean startup, right? And we at the beginning we had the idea the price is our biggest competitor or USP, but it's not. It's our smart engine that we're able to build perfect classes, match classes with the right teachers, and build tailor-made curricula based on our smart engine. So our students are very, very happy, and that's actually our biggest USP, and that's how we're way better compared to the traditional players.
Okay, but when you're marketing yourselves externally and people haven't experienced your product, at that point, okay, so what is, okay, maybe my question is, how different are you in price relative to the traditional language?
Well, currently we're cheaper, but I think this week or early next week we're increasing our prices since we're just losing some margin right now.
And so you'll be at par with a traditional language school? Or
no, we're not collaborating with them.
No, I'm saying your pricing will be at par with the traditional language school?
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll be at par from a pricing perspective.
Yeah.
And so you're just going to be able to, you're going to market a premium product or more engaged
We're way better. We're offering a way better quality at the same price.
Okay. And in terms of the teachers, so did I get that right? You're paying approximately $1,000 a week to the teachers?
Yeah, actually a bit less. And it works very well since teacher salaries are very low. So we have to just pay a little bit more since they're also taking over a certain risk. And that works really good. Yeah.
Great. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I have no questions.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
First of all, thank you for your patience. I think we have gone over by several minutes. We have concluded the competition stage of this evening's program. We're going to play a small video now, which is going to showcase some of the entries that we received during this competition. And we're also going to serve food at the same time. So, feel free to get up and walk around while the judges finish their deliberations and we come back for the winners. I would just like to state that you guys have been incredibly engaged, so we must be doing something right, and thank you again for your patience. Before we announce the winners, we would like you to meet our best impact startup. Angaza Elimu is pioneering personalized learning experiences for students in Kenya. Please welcome Kiko Mo.
Hello, my name is Kiko Mugo. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Angaza Elimu. How many of you here went to public primary schools? Going through public primary school, I recall sitting in a classroom of 52 students during my final year of primary school. It was crazy. Only teachers had textbook. We are spending a lot of time trying to get the attention of our few teachers. I persevered all this and performed on well on my public primary school national examination and was admitted in a top national secondary school in the city. Things were different here. Book ratio was 1:1. We had enough teachers and e-learning was being introduced. I usually say this was my 7th point of my academic journey and my life too. And I proceeded on to study telecommunication engineering. And the big question is, what if I was never admitted to a top national secondary school? Where would I be today? What does it mean if every student in Africa receives quality and relevant education? What would this mean for the economy of Africa? At Angaza Elimu, just like you, we believe that every student in Africa deserves access to quality and relevant education, and that's why we exist. At Angaza Elimu, we also believe that every student is unique and deserves personalized learning experiences that meet their own specific needs. And what are we doing to give students access to personalized learning experiences? We have an interactive and adaptive e-learning platform where students get to have access to multimedia content at home before they come to the classroom, and they are matched to assessments that meet their needs. Once they get all these on a flipped classroom model, teachers receive results immediately, and when they come to the classroom, they're able to give personalized instruction depending on how each and every student performed. And this is enabled by our robust data analytics system. Our curriculum does not offer STEM education, and we believe that for us to compete with students in developed countries, we must give students access to STEM education. And we are doing this by doing after-school sessions on STEM. Our market size currently in Kenya, we have more than 9 million plus students in primary school with more than 30,000 primary schools, and it's an opportunity of revenue of $100 million for education technology in Kenya only. So, since we launched our product in April this year in 2018, we've managed to hit 5 schools, bring 600, just to be precise, 612 users, and we've generated revenue of $13,500 over a period of 4 months. We aim by 2023 to be in more than 180 schools, bring more than 300,000 active users, and generating a revenue of $4.3 million. So how do we make money? We're on a B2B model where we charge every student on our SaaS platform $6 per term. This translates to $18 per year. Our STEM session is costing $5 for every student, and our projected revenue is $4.3 million. Our customer acquisition for every school is $60, and we sign a contract for 4 years, and this brings a lifetime value of $14,400. What makes us different from other existing EdTech players? We're the first people to do flipped classroom integration models in Kenya. We're also doing multidimensional interaction between the 3 key stakeholders of education, that's the teacher, student, and parent. I come from a country where internet connectivity is also an issue. So we've developed an offline version just to make sure for those in rural areas have access to our platform. And we're there to give online support for all our users for 24 hours in a day. These are our financials. We're planning to break even by 2020, and our projected revenue by 2023 will be 4.31, and this will only be achieved if we complete our current financing and our growth financing by the end of year of 2021. So we're looking to do our seed round. We're planning a trajectory of 3 rounds, and the first one will be for $500,000. And how much this money is going to be spent first is building a more robust and iterated product that delivers personalized assessments to students better. And this will take 35%, and we're also planning to spend 40% of this amount in our growth, user, and marketing. 25% of this money will go to operational costs. Angaza Elimu has been made possible by an incredible team. Myself, bring advanced experience from technology side and also business side. My co-founder, bring extensive experience in the development side, together working with our software developer. And we're in the education space, so we got a teacher with more than 5 years of experience in teaching. Our work has also been made easy by our incredible partners. We just secured a partnership with Kenya Private Schools Association, our customers, who are bringing more than 7,000 schools on board, and we're planning to roll out these products in our schools next year. WearFab is our official partner in our STEM, and we fabricate all the STEM kits locally to just make it cheaper. We also incubated by an NGO in New York that teaches on social entrepreneurship. Thank you so much, and I'll show you a video of how our product works. Thank you.
I'd like to invite Dr. Saleh and Anas to come on stage, please.
Thank you so much. Good. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Kiko, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the winner for lifelong learning application is CLAS. for supplemental application, Parlay Ideas, and 42 Lab. Suspense comes to an end. The entrepreneur hero of this evening is Key to Enable. Have one more. For curriculum application, come Kalima.
Gentlemen, on behalf of Krypto Labs and the entire management team and of all the affiliated companies as well, I'd like to thank you all for being with us on this very joyful occasion. Thank you to all the startups and congratulations to Key to Enable again. Congratulations to all the startups for all your hard work and all your initiatives. And congratulations to everyone, to all the entrepreneurs, all the startups. Thank you to all the investors and everyone else who joined us today. And a special thank you to the very hardworking Krypto Labs team that has done a phenomenal job in making this happen. So thank you all very much. Feel free to stick around, network, mingle. Thank you all tonight. Have a great evening. Assalamu alaikum.